John, this is recording, so if you say anything mean about me, I will have it forever.
Okay, I usually wait until you're off camera.
That's hilarious, man. How are you doing?
Great, great. How about you guys?
We're doing well, man. It's good to see your face today.
You too, you too.
Good.
Excited to
One
be able
of
to get to talk to you.
Say that again.
Excited to be able to talk to you today.
Just one more time. I love it, man. It's really good to see you, John. One of the things that we're passionate about at Christ Point is pointing people to Jesus. That's kind of why uh, we're called Christ Point. We want people to see Jesus, and one of the ways that we do that is by engaging all people. And so when we talk about that as a church family, we mean engaging the community where God has placed us, but then also engaging the world that God has placed us in. And so we've had just a great partnership with you and CIN over the years. And so one of my desires for the church is for us just to be able to touch base with ministry partners and hear how they're doing, through these crazy times, and hopefully just remind our people how we can be praying for you and partnering with you. And so maybe for those who don't know you, could you share a little bit about maybe your story and CIN, what you guys do?
Sure. Well, first of all, we appreciate, we love Christ Point, the church, and we just appreciate all you guys have done throughout the years. It's been such an incredible partnership, and getting to know a lot of your amazing families there at the church, and looking forward to meet everybody one day. But my name is John Hernandez, and my wife and I are the founders and directors of Children's Impact Network, and we rescue abandoned, abused, and neglected children. We also help with the families and children at risk. And so we're really excited that we have an opportunity to partner with you guys. I guess we started when we had already started an orphanage in Bolivia and then in Honduras. And now we just started 2 years ago in Chile, our first orphanage. And this year we opened up our second orphanage in Chile. So we're just so excited that it continues to grow. Churches like Christ Point partnering with us, and together we're able to do a lot of great things. So maybe at Christ Point, maybe you don't realize it if you're listening to this or watching this, but when you lay your head on the pillow at night, I want you to know that because of you, our team is taking care of children who had no one to care for them. Our team is ministering to them. We're accepting kids into the doors. And even during all of this crisis, we're still rescuing children. We're still rescuing kids. We're still making sure that our doors are open. And then on top of everything, it was kind of crazy. We ended up starting an orphanage during the COVID crisis. So, but we just want you to know how much we appreciate you guys, and how much it helps us to join hands with churches, amazing churches like Christ Point, so that we can continue doing what we're doing and even expand more and be able to impact the lives of more children.
Yeah, thanks, John. It's been a joy to partner with you and Maritza and your team over the years. We tell our people all the time, whenever you serve, it seems like you get so much more out of it than you could ever give. And you guys have been such a blessing to us. God's used you to sharpen us and to allow us to experience the joy of serving God, around the world. Tell us a little bit. I mean, you mentioned just a moment ago that in the midst of a pandemic, you thought to yourselves, hey, it would be a great time to start a new orphanage,
Yeah.
which, which is a bold leap of faith. So tell us, I mean, just recently, right? You opened the second orphanage in Chile.
Yeah, really, the way that happened is, it wasn't like, we actually pushed it aside and said, there's just no way during this time. And we were asked by the Chilean government to start this orphanage. There's a great need, and our first orphanage in Chile is from 0 to 6 years old. And in Chile, the laws there are that you cannot have children from birth to 18 years old like we do in our other countries. So the 0 to 6 home, once the kids aged out, they were going to be sent 4 and 5 hours away. If you know anything about Chile, you know that it's long, and it's either coast or mountains. And so it's split up into, instead of states, they call them regions. And so some of those regions were going to be really far away. Um, and so we were going to be separating our kids from some of the siblings. And so we really felt like it just wasn't a good time to do this. But as time went on and we realized the need, and we were maxed out at our home, we realized, what are we doing? We're only, delaying this, what, months maybe. And here's an opportunity to really make an impact. So it was crazy. We were able to somehow get it done. We were able to find a place, remodel it, furnish it, and the kids have been walking into those doors since November 1st. And so we're already full to capacity in one orphanage and very
Wow.
close to it in the other. So, and on top of that, we're still building in Honduras, our second building there.
Wow. Tell us a little bit. I mean, as we record this, we were what, two weeks off of just a devastating hurricane
Yeah.
that came through Honduras. And I know so many of our people have had the opportunity over the years to go and have a love for that place. I personally have just seen, videos that Melvin has done and put on Facebook, and Danny, and just of the devastation there. So talk a little bit about how are you guys doing there? What impact have you seen? What damage has been done there?
Yeah, well, I think first of all, one of the advantages to, God has blessed us with an amazing team in all of our countries, just an amazing team. And the fact that, when this storm went through, uh, we were getting pictures of the same airports that you and some of your team were in. The water in the airport was knee high. And so,
Mm.
um, the customs department completely destroyed. And so there was no getting in and out for anyone else. So it was so important for us to already have the right people on the ground. And so immediately, uh, the churches were mobilized, our staff was mobilized, local ministries that were already there, they just pitched in. And their motto was, we're going to come together, bring donations from wherever you can. And the Honduran people, is, and many of them in very poor situations, were still bringing whatever they had
Mm.
in unaffected areas. And then we've been able to, since the very beginning, start sending the funds to be able to purchase very needed supplies, and we continue to do that. And so now, just looking at the forecast this morning, the storm that's headed that way again, another storm, is a Cat 5
Mm.
that's going to hit the coast of Nicaragua and then go towards Honduras again. And so,
Mm.
the ground is already saturated. They're already, I mean, there's the streets are just full of piles of
Mm.
damaged household items, and everything from beds to dressers, whatever is in the middle of the streets. There's the mud. The biggest problem there, really, like we live in Florida, so we can handle torrential rains because we're basically built on sand, and so it just drains out fast. But theirs is clay, and it's
Mm.
just a different type of dirt, and so they get mudslides. They just dealing. 10 years ago, I spoke at a church right where this hurricane just hit now, and even 10 years ago, they were showing me damage from Hurricane Mitch, which was 20 years ago,
Wow.
and how the clay and the mud had reached probably about 5 or 6 feet up to the walls, and you can still see a lot of exterior walls in buildings and so forth. You can see the damage that's there still to this day, and now for them to get hit again. So
Mm.
we're making plans to get as much there as we can. We're buying as much supplies as possible that we can buy, and so just be preparing now for the second wave. And so our team is worried. I think this one is going to come a lot closer to our orphanage than the other one did.
Mm.
And so if everyone would just pray. So you asked, what have we been kind of, praying about, or what you pray about? We, from the beginning of this entire season, we've prayed for two specific things. It was protection, especially for COVID. When you're in a home with kids, and that's a huge family. There's no social distancing there. They live in the same place, our staff, everything. So we've done all our measures. We've done everything we could, but we prayed, number one, for protection, and number two, for provision. And the protection, we just want you to know that God has been so grateful, or so he's been such a blessing to us, because really not one of our children has had COVID. Some of the kids had ill feelings, and you get sick and you get scared, but we did have in Chile one of our staff, but it just felt like a mild cold, and so we've seen the protection over these children who already have suffered enough, and then the provision, as during this time, it's been very difficult for many ministries, and so we're down about 30%. So we're praying, Lord, we need those provisions. We need, it's not, we're in a situation where there's very few things that we can cut back on, because it's the type of ministry that is it's very demanding, as far as the kids have to eat, the kids have to go to school, the kids need materials. We were in a situation where when this all happened, that we all of a sudden now became teachers as well in all the orphanages. And so just like homeschool moms here in the States, if they had to do that, all of a sudden they had no plans to homeschool, or dads, and they had to do that. Well, we had to do the same. Our biggest problem was we just didn't have enough staff for everybody, and we couldn't introduce a bunch of new people that we didn't know that was going to work directly with our kids. So our staff has been phenomenal. They have really worked so hard to make this happen. And then we had a problem with devices. We didn't have enough devices for them to continue schooling online. And so we had to beg, steal, and borrow from everybody in all the countries to try to make it happen, so that everybody had a device so that they can continue their schooling. So having said that, God has protected us. God has provided. And we continue to pray that he continues to provide.
Yeah. John, I hear from parents all the time that they want to get rid of all their kids' devices, so we should probably send them to you.
Exactly.
It sounds like it could work. Hey, just tell me, lastly, I know one of the things for me is sometimes I'll see an update on Facebook, like I'll see pictures from Honduras with the water rising, and it can seem so overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
You just look at, I mean, you can just try to imagine the needs that are there. What encouragement would you give to folks here, in Charlotte, who see this online or see it in the news, but don't quite know what to do to help? They want to be part of the solution. They want to do something, but it's almost paralyzing sometimes, because you're just going, oh, what can I do? And so you touched on some things, some needs that you guys have. But what encouragement would you give maybe to our people who want to move, who want to act, who want to, to press in during this time?
Well, one thing is to take the burden off your shoulders, because when we see something like that, it's really too overwhelming. We're not going to solve this thing, by one person. It's taking many people to make it happen. And so the best thing we can do is just join in and be a part of that. And we can confidently say that we're God just positioned us in the right place, at least for this first storm, that we were able to be almost not affected. Sorry, James.
Not affected?
Not affected from that first storm, that positioned us to be able to warehouse everything, send it out from where, become a sending station. And because of that, the burden is amazing. The needs are incredible. I mean, it's sad to see, people left their homes and they're living by the roadside, and, in a little higher elevation. And now for this thing to come through again, or some sort of storm coming through again. But I would say just jump in and do what you can. And, it's not just through Children's Impact Network, but I'm sure there's other organizations. A lot of the relief type organizations haven't been able to do anything yet because they can't fly in, because customs was destroyed in that area. So it was really left up to the people who are already there. And so now we have an incredible system of distribution. We've got just hundreds of volunteers from local churches that are going out. One of the most beautiful things that we've seen is they kind of made a decision in those areas. They said, listen, doesn't matter who gets credit. We're all in this thing together. Here are some locations you can bring stuff to. Just bring it, and we will get it to the people. And it has been just a really tight community, and we're just so grateful that God's allowed us to be a small part of that. So we have a fund specifically for this Honduras relief, and we can share that with you, and or if they want to give through the church, and then you guys do that way. But anything that anyone can do would be greatly appreciated. And I think that that's what, sometimes relieves that burden from our shoulders, is that when we can say, hey, I'm praying, number one, and if I can, I'll give, number two. And so we could really use your prayers right now that God would just continue to strengthen our staff. They're tiring. It's been long time now, that many days that they've been in this.
Yeah. Well, thanks, John. Prayer and provision. Keep praying that God will continue to do a good work there, and for those who are able to, to give generously. John, I want you to know it's been just our great joy to be able to partner with you, over the years. And I oftentimes, find myself giving thanks to God for you and for your partnership in the gospel, and just super humbled as I see you live your life for the Lord. And it's just been, again, such an encouragement to me personally, but to our people as well. And so I appreciate your time this morning. I know you have a lot on your plate, and so thanks for spending a few minutes with me.
Yeah, thanks a lot, James, and we love you guys. We're so glad from the day that we got to meet you and your beautiful family and the church, and we're just so grateful for all that you guys do. We appreciate
we love you more, but it's not a competition, John. We love you. Hey, tell Maritza and the kids I said hello, okay?
Will do. All right.
Thanks.
God bless you.
Thanks, brother. You too. Love you, man.
All right. Love you too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.